Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano. I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission is farm to table, specifically wine. You know, there's so many farm to table restaurants out there. There's so many restaurants that say we support local, or there's so many restaurants that's the biggest trend out there, is this farm to table. And I say that's great and I love it, but realistically it's hard to achieve, or it's harder than most restaurants would want to think it is. Most restaurants, just because they serve 5 local farms, we're farm to table. But I always say, where's your sugar coming from? Where's your lemons coming from? Where's all the other ingredients coming from? Where's the flour? Where's the whatever it is behind the scenes? And they don't think about that. So to say you're all farm to table or this or that, no, we support a lot of local farms and we love local and we do that. That's the right thing. But when it comes to the bar, I know some of the best farm-to-table restaurants totally drop the ball when it comes to the bar. Would you agree with that, Jamie?
Absolutely.
One example.
I was completely shocked. Where were we just recently?
You were at a mixer just recently.
Oh, I was at a mixer, and I was completely shocked at the bar. At the restaurant, they call themselves farm to table.
Farm to table, and you turn behind the bar, and there's Diageo products, which is a mass.
It's not even only Diageo. It's
just everything.
It's they don't have the small little guys.
They don't have the small.
You're totally forgetting about the small little guys.
Right. So what happens is they're supporting brands like Jack Daniel's, which is a national, international conglomerate. There's no farm, there's no family, there's nothing behind a lot of these things. There's no small independents. They're all massive conglomerates. So they're praising the food, they're praising the local farmer, and then they turn around and just disrespect the bar. And it's just so frustrating. Like Jean-Georges, he has a place called ABC Kitchen. It consistently gets one of the best top 5 farm-to-table restaurants in New York City. But you look behind his bar, and it's like, wow, you're a corporate sellout. A total corporate sellout, because you don't want to take the time to search for the small brands, train your staff. Now, at my restaurant, we've slowly gotten away over the years of all the big brands. So first we start with all the Diageo products, then we're doing the Pernod Ricard products, then the Brown-Forman products. So the Moet Hennessy, whatever these conglomerates are, we slowly wean them out. Like today, we're doing a great tasting with all independents. I spoke to one of our independent suppliers and said, I need to replace XYZ, these big brands. He goes, I have perfect stuff for it. Let me come taste you on it. And that's what we do. It takes a lot of work, but that's the right thing to do. So Jamie and I went to the Bordeaux tasting, right, Jamie?
Yes, we did.
Went to the Bordeaux tasting at the Marriott Marquis, which they do it every year. It's a 2010 vintage kickoff, phenomenal vintage, and they give you a great book with all of the chateaus. All the chateaus. Beautiful book. It's like, I picked this up, I said, this is going to be my vacation guide. So the neat thing they did this year in the book was they listed the owner of each chateau. So as you walked up to the table, you could read the whole specs. Chateau Clark, okay, Chateau Clark, and it lists, the owner. Rothschild family, okay. There's nothing nice about the Rothschild family. So I don't support Rothschild products, Rothschild wines. I believe, that they're one of the most corrupt families out there. They control banking. The saying is give a man a gun, he can rob a bank. Give a man a bank, he can rob a country. The Rothschilds control banking in the majority of the countries worldwide. So I'm not a big fan of them and their policies and their involvement in Bank of America and their involvement in the Federal Reserve. They cost us a lot of money. So I'm not going to support a family that I feel is on the corrupt side like that, okay? But the funny thing is, as you go through, I just pulled Chateau Clark as an example, but I went through here and there's a bunch of things. Like, I would walk up to the table and I'm like, what is Group AR2R? I'd say, who's that owner? They look, say, oh, it's an insurance company. I'm like, insurance? How many insurance companies and banks owned vineyards yesterday, Jamie?
I would probably say out of the hundreds that were there, probably 95% of them were owned by a big conglomerate.
Big conglomerate. There were very, very few family-owned vineyards from Bordeaux at this tasting, and it was a big disappointment. And the big thing was insurance companies and banks own them, and their investments, their write-offs. And the owners that we spoke to, and I tasted the wine from everybody, but I had a legitimate conversation with the people who are actually the owners standing there. I'd look at my buddy and I look at Eric, Jamie, and I look at my buddy Eric, and I go, that's the owner. Because I'm looking and I'm cross-referencing. It's like, I'm looking at his name tag, looking at the owner, and I'm like, that's the owner. Let's go talk to him. Let's have a legitimate conversation. A couple of the owners I spoke to, they said it's just so expensive to own a chateau in Bordeaux that the taxes and the government just, it's not a very friendly situation. They make it easier for the big companies to come in for tax write-offs and do this. And of course, what happens when big companies take over, Jamie?
Oh, there's not as much
love,
there's not as
care.
much.
It's never the same. So imagine drinking a $200 bottle of French wine at a nice restaurant and finding out that Geico owns the wine, or Bank of America owns the wine, or whatever. You would be shocked. You're like, why would I buy wine that Geico owns? Why would I buy a wine from a winery that Allstate owns, right? You wouldn't do that. Well, that's what's happening in Bordeaux, okay? But it happens all over the world. So my thing is, okay, farm to table. There was a great showing with Bordeaux wines yesterday, and any restaurant would have gone in there and said, oh, I can buy this, I can buy this, I can buy this. This is great, let me put it on my list. But without doing the research of where is that dollar going, okay? I feel that these banks and these insurance companies are corrupt. So if you bought wine that your health insurance company owned, you probably feel a little gypped. You're like, wow, that's a conflicting business to be in. You're providing health care insurance and you're selling wine, you're selling alcohol. So there's a lot of research that has to go in, especially when you're farm to table or when you're just concerned about where your dollar goes. Now, for me personally, I always tell our guests, I want your dollar to go to the best possible place. Whether it's local's great, but that dollar is going to travel outside of our community at some point for lemons, for sugar, for coffee, for chocolate, for cognac, for champagne, for wine, for something. So when that dollar leaves our realm of local, of farm to table, where's that dollar going? Is it going to a bank? Is it going to a conglomerate? Is it going to an insurance company? Is it going to Geico? Like Geico needs more of our money? Who can use more of our money? The small independent producers. When I explained to the small guys what my philosophy was, they were their eyes like lit up, like, wow, thank you for caring. I got so many thank you for caring. And they honestly said, they go, I could use your money more than the insurance company there can. And they flat out told me that, and I know that. So I want to feel good about the money that I spend, and I want to feel good about the money that you're going to give me to spend in my restaurant. I think more restaurants, especially the farm to table, and shame on Jean-Georges, because he really needs to get his act together there, because I feel that Jean-Georges did his ABC kitchen sort of as a thing just to make money and jump in on the trends on let's do a farm to table, like a really in-depth farm to table concept, but then totally just disrespect the bar. And I haven't looked and see where he buys his other stuff from. But those other things I mentioned, like sugar, lime, sugar is one of the most polluting industries out there. Most unethical, most unsustainable. So is chocolate. And because you think you're buying a good Belgium chocolate, chocolate's not from Belgium. The companies who manufacture the chocolate are based in Belgium, or Switzerland, or France, or something like that. But chocolate is grown in Africa. There's a lot of problems with that in South America too, and around the equator, but most of it comes from Africa, and that's where the problems arise. So because you're a farm-to-table restaurant and you're buying some fancy Belgian brand of chocolate, where's that chocolate really coming from? What's the impact of where that dollar actually goes? Is it going to some tyrant? Is it going to some mass conglomerate? What's happening to the boys on that farm? Are they getting their fair share of that dollar? The answer is no, they're not getting their fair share. And that's what I'm concerned about. So next time you go to a restaurant, ask questions. Ask why they don't support more local, or ask where the local spirits are. Ask where the local wine is. When you order a bottle of wine, say, is this independently owned? Or does an insurance company own it? Does a bank own it? And if they don't know, say, it really matters to me. I want to make sure that dollar goes to the best place. I ask my suppliers, okay, so when I meet with my vendors, I specifically ask them who owns it, where it's from, who owns it. So when you go to a restaurant, ask. That's your supplier at that point. That's where you're giving your money to. That's where you're patronizing. Those questions are totally legitimate. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to look through my notes here yesterday and pick out some nice independently owned Bordeaux's to order into the restaurant here. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, click like, subscribe, pass it on, share it with another restaurant owner, share it with whoever. But that dollar makes a difference, and make your dollar count. Thanks for watching.